On February 3, 2023, a freight train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. The incident potentially jeopardized the safety of thousands and prompted an array of confusing information online. The story is still evolving, but we pulled together key facts about what is known so far about the derailment and what unfolded afterwards.
I'm Emmanuelle Saliba, a senior reporter with ABC News.
It's Friday, February 3rd in Salem, Ohio. Freight train 32N, operated by Norfolk Southern, is headed towards Conway, Pennsylvania. At 8:12 p.m., a security camera captures the train passing by. Sparks and flames are visible under one of the cars. According to the NTSB, the footage shows a wheel bearing possibly overheating. And according to the NTSB, train 32N is composed of 3 locomotives and 159 rail cars. 20 of those cars are carrying hazardous materials. About 8:54 p.m., roughly 40 minutes later, 38 rail cars derail on Main Track 1 in East Palestine, Ohio, a town of 4,700 residents. These local security cameras capture the impact of the derailment.
The wife and I were just talking in bed, and the kids were still downstairs.
This is Eric Whitting. He lives about a quarter mile from the derailment site.
We heard it. It was screeching halt. The train came to a stop. We've heard the trains here for 10 plus years, 11, 12 years. We know what it sounds like when a train comes to an abrupt stop like that, and that was probably the more abrupt stop.
Nate Velez was at home when he got a call from his brother-in-law.
He said, "Hey, I think the train hit something," because he was just laying down in bed, for the night. And he said, I felt it. It shook me. I jumped out of bed. And he's like, "I'm looking now. You can see the train's on fire." So he thought it hit something. So me and my son just hopped in the truck and drove down.
9:23 p.m. Velez captures these images of the train on fire.
We've never seen anything like that. It's massive, and the heat coming off of it. And we were kind of, we were still far enough away, but we could feel it. And my son's like looking at it. He's like, "Oh my God, Dad, that's a train," And then something blew up on it. And we were right there. We actually felt it shake our truck.
9:30 p.m. Eric is on his back porch and captures this footage with his drone. According to a list released by the NTSB, 11 of the 38 derailed cars were transporting combustible liquids, flammable liquids, and flammable gas. Some of these cars ignited and fueled a fire that damaged another 12 rail cars still on the tracks. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, these chemicals were released into the air, surface soil, and surface waters. Around 10 p.m., local authorities start evacuating residents within 1 mile of the derailment site.
It was like a movie. Cops door to door, state troopers, every police district you could think of, they were all here trying to get everyone to go.
10:11 p.m., local resident Ashley McCullum hears a series of sirens and opens her front door. 10:25 p.m., she's about 0.2 miles away from the site of the accident. McCullum evacuates that evening with her 6-year-old daughter.
What caused it?
Train derailed.
A train derailed?
Yeah.
10:53 p.m. According to the EPA, Norfolk Southern reports the incident to the National Response Center, a federal operations center that receives all notifications of oil and chemical spills. The EPA is made aware that a number of the cars contain hazardous materials. 2 a.m. February 4th, according to the EPA, some of their personnel arrive on site to assist with air monitoring. 12 p.m., a local drone company flies over the derailment site. It's still burning. The NTSB holds their first press conference.
At this time, we are unaware of any injuries to the train crew, first responders, or members of the community.
February 5th, the NTSB holds a second press conference.
We have obtained 2 videos which show preliminary indications of mechanical issues on one of the rail car axles.
They also released drone footage from the scene. And according to an NTSB investigation released weeks later, the cars carrying vinyl chloride continue at this time to concern authorities. The temperature of one tank is allegedly still rising, and it could lead to a potential explosion. According to a document released by Norfolk Southern, the cars carrying vinyl chloride did not leak. Norfolk Southern plans to schedule a controlled burn, meaning they're going to intentionally vent and ignite all the train cars carrying vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride is a colorless, flammable gas used to make hard plastics. Around 8:30 p.m., Ohio Governor Mike DeWine urges those living within a 1-mile radius to evacuate. Local officials say 500 people refuse to leave their homes. 11:15 p.m., the site is still burning. February 6. It's now been 3 days since the crash. Dark smoke is still visible at the site. Ohio and Pennsylvania authorities order a mandatory evacuation for anyone living within this 1-mile radius and a shelter in place within this 2-mile radius. Around 4:30 p.m., the controlled venting of the 5 rail cars containing vinyl chloride begins. According to Ohio's EPA, vinyl chloride is a known carcinogen, meaning it's capable of causing cancer with prolonged exposure. When it burns, it also releases other chemicals, many of which can be harmful to humans. Short-term exposure can lead to irritation in eyes, nose, and throat. High levels can affect your lungs, making it difficult to breathe. People can also suffer from headaches, dizziness, nausea, and tingling in arms and legs. Some residents have told ABC News reporters they've experienced these symptoms when they later returned home. The controlled vent is visible from space. A NOAA satellite captures this footage. February 8th. Low levels of a chemical known as butyl acrylate are being detected at multiple sampling sites along the Ohio River, downstream of the derailment site. All cities will later say there has been no impact to the drinking water. And 2 days after the controlled burn, local authorities tell residents they can safely go back to their homes. Eric is now back at his house with his family, and he captures the first trains back on the track. February 10th, the EPA sends Norfolk Southern this letter. In it, they report that these 5 toxic chemicals have been found in the air, the soil, or water surrounding the crash site. They also say that materials released during the incident have been detected in samples from these creeks. February 13th, 10 days after the train derailed, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg posts these tweets about the incident. Buttigieg says the EPA has been monitoring the air, indoor and outdoor, and testing for VOCs and other chemicals of concern. He adds they've screened 290 homes so far, and no detections were identified. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw also releases this letter. He announces a $1 million community support fund to help residents rebuild. Shaw adds, "We will not let you down." February 15th. It's now been a week since the evacuation order was lifted, but residents continue to have health and safety concerns.
We find it very hard to believe that there is no particulate matter in the air that can cause us harm.
They gather for a town hall meeting where they confront local, state, and federal leaders. February 16th, an independent journalist, Nick Sorter, is with a local homeowner when he notices a chemical sheen at Sulphur Run. It's one of the local streams in East Palestine. He shoots this video. And the same day, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance sees something similar at another stream called Leslie's Run.
But watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek.
February 21st. The EPA says it will compel Norfolk Southern to clean contaminated soil and water resources and pay for all the costs associated with the cleanup and EPA's work. Norfolk Southern told ABC News that they are committed to doing what's right for residents of East Palestine, and they plan to reimburse them for the disruption this has caused in their lives. February 23rd. It's now been nearly 3 weeks since the derailment. Pete Buttigieg visits the derailment site. And on the same day, the NTSB releases a preliminary investigation.
Upon passing the third detector with a temperature of 253 degrees above ambient, that's critical.
Chairwoman Hamendi explains that a trackside sensor alerted the train crew that a wheel bearing was overheating to a dangerous degree. The train crew immediately hit the brake, but it was too late to prevent a crash.
I will tell you that had there been a detector earlier, it would not have, that derailment may not have occurred.
The last detector was 19 miles before the crash site.
I can tell you this much, this was 100% preventable. We call things accidents. There is no accident. Every single event that we investigate is preventable.
Hamendi also added that the NTSB found no evidence that the crew did anything wrong. Norfolk Southern told ABC News that they are inspecting nearly 1,000 wayside heat detectors on its systems, on top of regular monthly inspections. According to Governor DeWine's office, 4,832 cubic yards of contaminated soil has been excavated and 1.7 million gallons of contaminated water. The EPA is also installing water monitoring wells at the site of the derailment to determine if the water is contaminated. Despite this, some residents tell ABC News they are incurring personal costs, whether for relocating, buying water and air filters, or temporary housing. And many worry about the long-term impacts of the derailment on the town, their health, and their livelihoods.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.